Uh, I'm tired of this thing. My sister called. Oh, oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. My sister called. Oh, oh, oh. Wait a second. Oh, we had a accident here. Okay. She want me to call her. I know I can't post this live stream because I can't post this one. I done dropped the whole camera. But anyway, it's gonna be a summer of meeting new faces, talking to new people. Okay, let me call her. Yeah, I'm gonna be meeting new people, talking to new people. What we gonna name our kid? What kid? What kid we naming? Yeah, I was able to plug up my iPad so I can keep my live stream on. We can't have no kid together. I'm fresh out. I'm fresh out of energy, to be having kids. I can't be having no kids. And plus I'm too big to be having kids. I'm 800 pounds. I can't be having nobody children. Yeah, the body ain't there to have children. You know what I mean? 800. I'm 800 pounds, so I can't be having no kid. You know what I mean? It's not allowed. You doing what? I know the hell you lying. Not in me. Not in me. You gotta find somebody else. You gotta talk to some woman down south. Well, the women down south, they tend to like to have children more often. I'm a up north person. You know what I mean? I'm Midwest, but my mindset is up north. You know what I mean? So I can't be having no children. You know what I mean? I'm not. I can't be doing all that. You have to poop. What the hell you telling me for? Can you make me a salad? No, I cannot. I cannot make you a salad. I can't make you no green eggs and ham either. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I don't want to be your chef. I'm not trying to be nobody's chef. I don't want to be nobody's chef. I already been there, done that. Okay. And at the end of the day, the person didn't like my food. I already been there, done that. Okay, I'm not cooking. I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook nothing for nobody. I'd rather just be an intellectual, have an intellectual conversation with somebody and bond like that. I don't want to. I don't want to be your chef. I don't want to cook. I ain't here going to my mouth. I don't want to be cooking or nothing. You gonna cook for me? See, that sound better. You had some Mexican food. Feel like I'm dying right now. You need to go get you. You know, get you some Pepto Bismol or some Zantac. I need to block AZ. No, AZ is fine. You have to ignore people's crazy comments. What you say? Your fan? Can you? I am homeless. Steven, Steven. I don't know what that is. That your cash app? Is that your cash app? Everybody donate $1 to it's bunch. I don't know what to tell you. You gotta call Mr. Beast. See, you gotta go when Mr. Beast live stream. You gotta get on there and get and talk to him about sending you a couple thousand. Now, I am not done with men for life. I enjoy the company of men. Men don't enjoy my company like that. You know what I mean? So, because I'm not a person that can be manipulated and you can't lie to me. There's no fun in that for men when they can't do those two things, unless they're a higher intellectual that doesn't do those things. A high intellectual man don't lie and manipulate. And so, until I meet somebody that's like that, you know. But I like dating. I like having fun. I like going on dates. I like hearing what people got to say and what people got to talk about and all that kind of stuff. I ain't got no problem with that. I got Mr. Beast money. Well, where did I get Mr. Beast money? I ain't nowhere near Mr. Beast money. How he homeless? The homeless people be having cell phones. You can be homeless and still have a cell phone and stuff. I ain't making no biscuits. Now you go and make me some biscuits and come back. Make sure you put extra butter and grape jelly. No, no, honey and extra butter on my biscuits. Make sure they fluffy. I don't want no flat biscuits. Make sure they real fluffy if you gonna make them. That's all I can tell you. You know, do what you need to do. Hello, Deb. How you doing? The new face of homelessness. What's that? What's that? Not Bumblebee. I'm Bumblebee too. Hello, Roland. How you doing? Welcome to the night show. We not doing much. We just chit chatting, talking about dating for some reason. Oh yeah, yeah. That is. I mean, that is different. You could be homeless and still have a cell phone. You just don't have a home. But sometimes you can be homeless. You can be living in your car. You can still go take a shower at the gym. You know, you still functioning. You just don't have a home. What? We talking about homelessness and dating at the same time. No, no, no. People ask me about being single and all this stuff and going places and doing things, and it's no, no, no. The homeless person. No, there's a homeless person on the live stream asking for some money. But they got me confused with Mr. Beast because Mr. Beast is the one that has money on YouTube. I ain't got nothing on YouTube yet. We not getting paid yet on YouTube. You rather be homeless with family or be a millionaire and have nobody? Do you rather be homeless with family or be a millionaire and have nobody? I'd rather be the millionaire. I'm sorry, I could be alone. I know that sounds horrible, but yeah. I mean, 'cause what if your family's crazy? Don't be dating homeless. I got other things to work with. That what you talking about? Yeah, your family could be crazy as hell. You want to be stuck with your family and be homeless too? It depends. If you got a wholesome family, yes, ride it out with your family. But if your family is horrible, ain't no way I want to be stuck with them, and then we don't have nowhere to live. I don't know about that one. That's a complex question. You shouldn't get a Jerry curl. Every time I come on here, my line string cut off. It keep cutting off like some your current family. What you talking about? I just keep going brighter and brighter. I don't need to be brighter. Uh the phone just keeps cutting off. I don't know. I don't know. You know the deal. It just cuts off. Ain't nothing I can do about that. It just cuts off. You know. The powers that be are not being fair to me. Yeah. So I don't know, but I that's a loaded question. You be teasing who? This ain't no strip show. Who teasing what? What you talking about? I would be alone with $1 million. Your fam will come back to you. Ah! They'll find you. If you get $1 million, your family gonna find you. You won't be lonely for long. They'll find you. Hey. I know we didn't get along, years ago, but now that you rich and stuff, help me out. Help your brother out. Help your sister. Help me out. Hey neighbor, tell me, do you see traffic? Tell me, do you have a boyfriend or what? Tell me yes or no. Are you single or alone? I mean, it's a lot of questions. Are we on a date? You asking a lot of questions. We on a date? You asking a lot. You think you choose homelessness? Well, that's on you. That is on you. I don't know. I don't know if I would choose. I don't know if I would choose that. Depending on the family dynamic. Heavy on how your family treated you to be stuck with them and be homeless and stuff like that. But to answer your dating question, I don't have nobody. What do you think is missing in the dating scene and relationships? Honesty. That is what's missing. Oh, you subscribe to my channel? Thank you very much. That is what's missing from the dating scene. Where can I find the Indian woman in India? You can't find her here. You gotta go all the way to India to get your woman. Yeah, that's what's missing from the dating scene. Honesty. Being honest with yourself, not trying to get honesty out of the other person, but being honest with yourself and knowing what you want and what you don't want. A lot of people get into things because of the beneficial perks of being in a relationship, not really wanting to really be committed to it. So you have to be honest with yourself. So if I would say anything, being honest with yourself is what's missing from that whole dynamic. You can't just be with somebody just for the whatever perk or benefit. It's not right to do that. So you have to be honest with yourself. I'm recovering from my first heartbreak. It's crazy. I just wasted so many. We all do the same thing. We waste a lot of years talking to, people all the time. Sometimes you waste years and then you have to just say, "Hey, I learned some things," and you have to move on from it. I mean, it's this thing happens to everybody. Everybody goes through heartbreak. Everybody ends up broken up, leaving people, and going on to different things. Sometimes the person you with, it just not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out because they're really meant for somebody else. There's somebody else can meet their needs, and you can't meet their needs, and they can't meet yours. And so you just have to go where what's best suited for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta go with wherever's best suited. You know, I'm at a certain place in my life, and sometimes people, they need other things than me because I'm somewhere else, and you're somewhere else. So go where you feel good, go where you feel needed or whatever. My fiance and I went to an Easter play called His Story, Great Message. Oh, that sounds right. How much do you weigh? 800. So what have we learned here today, boys and girls? What have we learned here today? We have learned that um, relationships can be complicated. Relationship. Tell me, then, neighbor. Tell me yes or no. I'll let you out with me. What do you mean? What neighbor? You my neighbor? Where the hell you live? I think it's crazy. Yeah, I just think it's crazy when after y'all split, they will just bash you like you be trolling on here, but be really saying some real stuff. Uh, I don't think. How do you know they bashing you? How do you know the person is bashing you? Not even before they watch my YouTube. Mm, you think somebody ate their dinner yet? Probably so. Really, really, dang. Mhm. How you know the person is bashing you when y'all split? How you even know that? After my fiance had a miscarriage, I found the remains in the toilet, abandoned. I took them and placed them inside of a jar. And what the hell you talking about? What are you talking? You need a psychiatrist. Oh, like bash you in your face? Yeah. Sometimes people say things to hurt you, in the course of whatever they got going on in their life. Sometimes people say things to try to bring you down off your, wherever they think you are at. Sometimes in your mind, you could be at a higher level in somebody's mind than than for whatever reason. They may think you are better for some whatever reason in their mind. And so since it's in their mind that you are somewhat higher level or better or whatever that is, they try to bring you down by any means and try to, let you know that you ain't this and that and blah blah blah. But if I'm not this and that, then why the hell you talking to me? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? So, sometimes people say these things like the whole cooking thing, telling you you don't know how to cook or, well, I have been told before, I ate your cooking because, I'm with you, out of love, not because I like it. But, they ain't say that until an argument came up. Before then, they eating all your food. And then when the argument comes up one day, they bring that, out to let you to try to humble you or something like that. You just trying to find a reason not to die. What do you mean not to don't die? Live to see another day. Thank you, cowboy. Uh yeah, it is. Mhm. Yeah, people do this stuff all the time, hurt people love to hurt people. People who are dealing with hurt or past trauma or a lot of situations and issues and stuff like that, and things just falling apart or not going their way and stuff like that, and just, live in a world of chaos sometimes, when they see a person that is, level headed, they try to discredit that person. They try to, bring you down a notch because they don't understand. So there are some people out there um, that don't want you to be better or succeed or anything like that. They get upset because you got this thing going on or this thing going on, so they want to knock you off your horse. You know what I mean? They want to knock you off, knock you down, and they wonder why good things keep happening to you. Why do good things keep happening to you? Why do good things keep happening to you? I don't understand. Because they see themselves as this overall whatever kind of good person or whatever, and they in their mind they just don't understand why you getting this opportunity or you doing this and you doing that and all this kind of stuff. There are people out there like that, and they wish for your downfall. They wish that you didn't have these opportunities and stuff like that, or success, or whatever it is that's in their mind. And that's because they live in a world of chaos. And when you live in chaos every single day, and it's always a different story you have to create, there's always a lie that you have to tell, and all this big circus all the time. You're gonna feel some type of way when you come against somebody that um has things going on or is successful in their life. You're gonna be upset because you got this circus going on. You got to do a lot to appear uh uh um level headed. I don't have to do all that. I go to work, okay. I work on my projects, whether they fail or, I have hit and miss with things. I try things, they fail. I just keep trying different things to see what I like and stuff like that. I don't consider myself a failure at anything, but I try a lot of things and I see what I like, I don't like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it work out, sometimes it don't. And I'm just a straight up level headed person. I don't live in chaos. I don't have this. this circus around me of people. I don't even deal with a lot of people. I hardly deal with anybody. My circle is very tiny. So I don't live in, I don't have to go tell lies to people constantly and manipulate and do all this crazy stuff. I don't have to do all that because my life is just plain. I have a very plain life. I don't do a whole bunch of craziness. I ain't got all that going on. I don't have to tell stories to 10 different people and all this kind of stuff and ruining friendships all the time and all. I don't have to do all that. But there are people who live like that. And so they hate level-headed people. They hate people that just have a straight up just normal life. I don't have all that going on. So the person that I was talking to that talked about my cooking, talked about this, talked about that, kept saying this and that and all that, and then in their mind, they would say, well, you're saying stuff about me, but what? I don't create chaos. I'm not a chaotic person. I don't have time for all that. I don't indulge in chaos unless you try to drag me down into it. Now you drag me down into it, I may go on the ride with you for a minute, but then eventually I'm getting off cuz I ain't got time. Hello, Mother Mama. How you doing? You know what I mean? I do it for entertainment. I'll watch you. We can go down this chaotic rabbit hole if you want to for a minute. You know what I mean? I'll go with you for a minute. I'll watch you lie, manipulate. I'll watch you say all kind of crazy things to me, the whole nine. I'll just look at you and watch it. But as far as inviting a whole bunch of craziness, I can't do that. You will never see me out here fighting over no man in no street. You ain't gonna never see me hair pulling some girl somewhere and all that crazy stuff. And you ain't gonna never see me doing none of this crazy stuff because it ain't worth it to me. I ain't into all. I don't feel like sitting here gossiping about all these people and you know how they have all these people on YouTube and stuff like that and social media be gossiping among each other and all this and so said this and so. I ain't got time for all that. That's too much for me to keep up with. I'm too old for that. I don't care about all that. Thank you. I'm Mr. I don't know what your name is. I am Mr. Something. Then Peter said unto them, repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ for the remaining remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. There you go. How old are you? I am 47 years old. I'm old. So that's why I don't have time for chaos and drama. I don't have time for the circus. You know. That's why it's very difficult for somebody to uh deal with me. Deal with me because I can't deal with the circus and the chaos. You know. You tell me something, I'm like, well, why you got to do that? What's going on? You know, if I'm a person, if you don't want me to know something, don't tell me. Don't tell me at all. Leave me in the dark. Leave me in the dark as long as you can. It's just above you not to deal with that. That right. I ain't got time for all that crazy. I don't have time for the craziness. I know people love drama, they love to live in their own little movie, but I can't live in no movie like that. I can't do that. It's too exhausting, you know. I'm probably the most difficult person to sit and lie to. You cannot lie to me. I'm one of those people. You cannot lie to me. I barely believe people as it is on the strength of me just knowing you. I'm a person you cannot lie to me at all about anything. Cause I can see right through you. Yeah, play Sim. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? The bad thing is about me is that I'm an empathetic person, and I feel sorry for people's situations sometimes, and sometimes they chaos, and I will go along with they whatever they got going on for a minute, but then I'm like, God, this is over. This is getting out of hand. I mean, anytime somebody argue with me over chicken, I thought that was the craziest conversation I ever had in my life over chicken. I'm like, this is unreal. You can buy chicken again. Isn't there reasons to lie to protect you? Protect you from what? Accountability? Sometimes you gotta take the punch. Sometimes you gotta take the hit. Whatever you did, whatever you said, it's already out there. You just gotta take it. You can't sit there and how long can you keep lying to people and lying to yourself every day? Who wants to do that? No, no, you gotta take the hit. You gotta take the hit. I know that some people do not want to take accountability. I have seen it with my own eyes. And I thought it was the craziest some of the stuff I have seen is just like you are you really gonna create this whole circus, this whole story to avoid accountability? Are you really gonna take yourself in a damn loop and drag other people with you to avoid accountability? That sounds crazy to me. Just take the hit. If I do something, I'm gonna own up to it. Now it may take me a minute, you know, to own up to it, maybe a couple hours or something like that. Say, yeah, I did it or whatever. But normally, if it's something really bad or I feel like, it was horrible or something, which I've never done nothing that horrible, that I may have to think about it and then I'll just take the hit. I ain't got time to be sitting here and just like, okay, I'm great and I can't take accountability. I'm an adult. I can take accountability for something I said, something I did. You know what I mean? I can take the hit. It's 12 a.m. my time. I'll call. Bye, KB. Have a good night. Yeah, so, I'm a person, I can take the hit. I just, I don't know about nobody else. I'm not going to do that. And I think if you live in your truth, you don't have to you can breathe easier when you live in your truth. When you sit here and you create stories and all this to avoid accountability and all that, that's too much. That's too much to do. And I have seen it, and it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to watch somebody, especially somebody you care about, go through all of that. just to avoid accountability. Would you forgive a spouse for cheating? Probably not. I mean, all the people that have cheated on me, I'm not with them. If anybody's ever cheated on me, I ain't with them. You know. So no. What is there to forgive? You made your choice. Once you cheat, you made your choice. If I find out about it, you made your choice. Ain't nothing, ain't nothing to we can't go forward. Now some people have talked to me, and if you accuse them of cheating, they will say they not cheating. But anytime you are talking to other, women, or are you a woman and you talking to other men on the phone and all this kind of stuff, that's cheating. It's emotional cheating. You lending your energy and time and emotions to somebody else. So that's cheating. You stepping out on your partner. You know what I mean? That's definitely cheating. So, even though some people that lack accountability will tell you in your face that you are crazy. What are you talking about? I'm not cheating. I haven't cheated. I haven't cheated. And they do, they cheating, they just, in their mind they're not cheating because they're just texting on the phone. They just calling the person, they I tell everybody good morning, by text. I tell everybody good morning by text. They make up this whole thing, you know. So you got people like that do stuff like that. So good morning, Trevor. How you doing? It must be morning where he at. Well, it is morning. It's 12 midnight. So, when people cheat, you know, it's up to their definition of cheating. You can tell them they cheated and they will deny, 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 deny. Because in their mind is not. But basically they are. They lying to you, they cheating on you, time and energy spent on somebody else. And you know what? And that is fine. We are humans. You can go be with somebody else. That is fine. But to keep hold of somebody else while you go do whatever you want to do is wrong. That is morally wrong. You know what I mean? You should be more mature and have uh, uh, some better or self awareness and emotional intelligence to tell you what you're doing is horrible, because you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. You wouldn't want somebody to be sitting over there on the phone, texting somebody else, hiding their phone like this. You won't want nobody to do that to you, so why would you do that to somebody? I know people like to do that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just people getting hurt, feelings getting hurt, a lot of time wasted. Why do that to somebody? I know there are some people out here who want to do whatever they want to do, and they don't want to be held back. They don't want nobody controlling them. They don't want nobody saying nothing to them and all that. But if you feel controlled and restricted in your own relationship all the time, leave it. Break up. Go talk to somebody else. That person ain't for you. If you feel like a ball and chain is on, you feel like a slave, and the ball and chain is on the bottom of your ankle, go talk to somebody else. Just break up. Just say, I thought this was gonna work out, but you a little too much for me. And go be with somebody else on your level or something. Somebody that either tolerate what you're doing. You know what I mean? Sometimes people will leave good people and just to go be with somebody that will tolerate the lies, the manipulation, the cheating and all that. And there are people out there like that. There are people out there like that who will tolerate and say, "Oh, you cheat on them in their face, you get caught red-handed. Oh, it's okay. You know what? We still gonna be together. It's okay. You lie in their face. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. No, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Duh, duh, duh," and all of that. Some people tolerate that. Some people tolerate that for entertainment too. You know, when people lie to me in my face, you know what I mean? I have a choice. I could leave or I could just, sit there and watch you basically eat yourself alive with your lies. I can watch you eat yourself. And sometimes I do. I sit there and I watch for a minute and see what kind of person you are to go through all this, you know. And then when I get tired, I either expose you or, you know, I let it go. I'm done. It's either or. It's a toss up with me. I may sit there for a minute just to watch and see how far you want it to go. Yeah, there you go, AZ. I do the same thing. I let you lie into my face so many times, and I just want to see. I really do like to see where people go with these things. How far you willing to go? How deep is this story going to get? Right. They can't keep up. I had somebody lie to me in basically it was so it was so much. It was so much. And I'm so forgiving. I'm so patient. Not really patient. No, I won't. I'm not patient. I'm so grace. I give people grace. I try to see, the good in people and say, you know what, this person going through something, so maybe they lying to me, to protect themselves at this time because they going through something. I got a nice nose. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, Jacob. Maybe this person is lying to me because they going through something. So, let's see how this play out. Let's see how this play out. And so I just watch, and I feel sorry for people that have to go through all this, that have to do all this. I am not somebody you could lie to, but people try, and I just keep a record in my mind of all the lies. I just keep a ongoing tally. How many times sat here and said some crazy shit. Okay, stuff that don't make sense, stuff that just don't connect, and I just watch, and that's it. You know, And eventually these people go on to other people, and they do the same things that they did with me. They do to other people, which is very scary. It's very scary to have people out there in the world that continue this behavior of chaos and lies constantly all the time. Her wavy hair flows like midnight on the seesaw, curl dancing wild and free with thick warm. I know that's right. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sun Forge. Yeah. So, if you ever encounter and deal with the, I can't see your jawline. You need a treadmill. Why you looking at my jaw? I can't see yours either. Let me see yours, and then we can compare. Let me see your jawline. Send me a picture of yourself to my Instagram at Dope Beauty Legend, because I need to know what I need to work towards. Send me your picture so we can do a comparison. Send me yours. I'm gonna see your jaw. Since you worry about my jawline disappearing. But anyway, everybody that's in, uh, why why do you have two jawlines? How you see two jawlines? What you talking about? What does it matter? You came to the right place. Buy me one. You can buy me one if you want to. You know, if you want to buy me a gym membership, if you want to buy me a gym membership, you can. That easy money, Jack. Just bring me a nice coat. Bring you a nice cold glass of milk and bring up my cigarette ashtray and make sure you wash it. I'm not washing your ashtray. And I'm not doing none of that. You know what I mean? I ain't doing none of that. What's your diet? Diet Coke. Oh, um, I ain't on no diet. You know, that easy work for me tonight. No, no, no. Um, yeah, I'm not on a diet. This is all natural. Not weigh 400 pounds. Doing 5 days for only $30 in total would be tough. I mean, you could do it. If I had to take somebody, if I was taking somebody on a date and I have take 5 people, I mean, take somebody on 5 dates, and I only had $30. First of all, I'm doing free stuff first. I'm gonna look up free events and take you to those free events first. For the first 2 days, festivals, a walk in the park, you know, uh, do a picnic. I would take $10, get some picnic food, and do a little picnic or something with that. I would take $10 more, and we can ride bikes in the city or something like that. Go bike riding or something in the city. And then $5, I would take $5 and I would go get us some ice creams from the ice cream cones, in the store. And then we can walk and talk and eat ice cream or something like that. So you can make it happen. You just have to be very, very highly creative in the process. You need a treadmill. Yeah, 2 of those days are to the library. Yeah, go to the library, read some books. Chicken nuggets and a bottle of water for all days. Oh God, I don't know about that. Hello, Daniel. How you doing? I don't know about no chicken nuggets and no water. But you know what? Do what you have to do. You gotta tap into the person's personality. If that person like to read books and all that kind of stuff, then you take them. to a bookstore or something like that, or take them to a poetry reading or something like that. Sometimes they have free stuff like that in the city, free poetry readings and art exhibits if they into art or something like. There's free stuff you can do. You just gotta be creative, and figure out what that person is into. I'm a person. I'm not gonna really ask you what you're into. I'm just gonna observe and see what I think you might be into. Hey, brother, how you doing? I'm gonna just see what I think you could be into, and go off of that. You know, but you gotta be careful of people who they pretend to have certain interests, but those are not really their interests. They just say those things because it sound good. So you gotta watch out for people who pretend, to have interest in something and they ain't got no interest in that. So be careful of that. Dating and relationships is very complicated these days. You need to be an open-minded, emotionally intelligent person to be out here dating and being in relationships these days. Because people are very tricky and very complex. And, uh, I come from a generation where we got disciplined, discipline for wrongdoings and stuff like that. So that's why I know taking accountability is back then either you got to admit you did it, you know what I mean, or face the consequences. Yeah, I got hit with a grapefruit. After that, I just I rather fess up and deal with it. I rather deal with the lecture than and all that. My mama hit me with a grapefruit upside the head. She was like, "What the hell, bam?" The worst day I went on, the lady was all on her phone first, and then told me she slept with one of my friends. All this was in the beginning of the day. Damn! And I would have walked away. Yeah, you should have got up and said, "Ma'am, I think this date is over." Yeah, I think this date is over, ma'am. But it was nice talking to you, and you just walk out. hmm People that sit on their phone all the time while talking to you, they don't like you. A person who is heavy into their phone and they have you in their presence, they don't like you at all. They don't like you and they don't want to be bothered with you. 'Cause that doesn't make any sense. Why are you on your phone like that? Unless you're doing business, I can see you doing business or you talking to family or something like that. But to be sitting there on your phone, especially if we are on a date or something like that, something that's supposed to be about me and you on your phone, that means you don't care and you don't have no respect and you don't like me. That's plain and simple. You don't like me, you don't want to be around me, so I don't even know why we on this date. How old am I? I am 47 years old. Um, we went to the movie after the meal. I didn't even sit next to her during the movie. I know that's right. But I wouldn't have went to the movie with her either. Sometimes you gotta voice you got thank you, Scott. Sometimes you have to let the person know up front. This has to end. After that meal, you should have ended it right then and there. You gotta stand up for yourself and say, look, this ain't it. Are you single? Yeah, I'm single. Uh, hmm Sometimes you gotta stand up for yourself on these dates. You can't just keep going. You have to spend more money to go to the movies. Why would I pay for the movies and the dinner was hell? Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The dinner was hell. Why you want to go somewhere else with that person? I wouldn't. Trash. Horrible. Don't recommend. I don't recommend that. The first part of the day is trash. Don't go to the second part. Oh, you was younger then? Yeah, see, when we young, we make crazy decisions. We do stupid stuff, talking to people you don't even like or want to be with, and the whole nine, just wasting a lot of time. And then when you get older, you think in your mind you have learned so many lessons that you can avoid all these things. But these things still will come in your face. I have always said a good part of my life, I do not like chaos and craziness. I do not like that. I don't like to be confused. I don't like people that are not transparent. Not that I need to know everything, but if you got something crazy going on, it's better to tell me than to keep me wondering what in the world is going on, especially if you got crazy behavior. If you're doing crazy behavior and you keep me wondering what the hell going on, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the feeling like I'm out the loop and something crazy's going on. I don't like that. You have to be mature and say, "Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or whatever. I ain't got to be involved, but at least give me a heads up so I won't think that you a crazy person or you got some crazy stuff going on." Don't keep me, aware, but you don't have to keep me in the loop. You know what I mean? Oh, keep me aware, but you don't have to tell me all the deep. You ain't gotta tell me everything. Just give me a note. Just give me a snippet of what's going on. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, I got you. And I'll leave it at that. I don't need to take it no further. Unless you gonna keep dragging me into something. If you keep dragging me into something, then I'm gonna say, well, why don't you do this? Well, why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I hate when people bring some information to me, okay? And I've learned over time to just absorb the information and don't really make a comment. But then if the person keeps bringing more and more information to me about a certain thing, eventually I'm going to say, well, why didn't you do, or why can't you do this, or why can't you do, I'm going to be like that. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do this or that? You know, why are you doing that? Don't do, well, don't do that, do this. Why are you doing that? If you make me question what your your mentality in dealing with a situation, you are going to feel like, I am being invasive or controlling or whatever. I don't want to control nobody's situation, but when you bring stuff to me, you know, I only can be a listener for so long, and then eventually I have to say, hey, what is going on here? What? What happened to your hair? Where your hair go? What? Where your hair go? Mm, mm. Ugh, I don't. So many people do. So many people need to see a psychiatrist, a therapist. Oh yeah, it's a win. I will be doing that from then on out. Man. So, you know, you have to you have to be careful with the kind of people you deal with these days. You have to be very careful and understand that some people have an agenda. Some people have, things in their mind they want to get to. And so they may take you down a rabbit hole in order to get the things that they want. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott, for the ring. You know what I mean? They may take you down the rabbit hole of hell to get wherever they're trying to get to. And you have to decide whether you want to go down that hellhole with them. And some people right now are trapped right now in that hellhole and can't get out because they don't want to let the person go. But sometimes there's a better person for that person and whatever they're going through. There's a better person that can deal with whatever they got going on. I may not be able to deal with a lot of craziness, but there's somebody that can deal with that craziness and and manage it and just accept it for what it is and just say yes, yes, and agree. There like my grandpa has 3 daughters. I know it would be a while before I try to seriously down that road. Yeah, yeah, take your time. That's like my grandpa. My grandpa has 3 daughters, and two of the daughters, you know, they had their thing. They really didn't have a strong relationship with their father. But my mother had the strongest relationship with her father. And you know why that is? Because she was basically a yes daughter. You know what I mean? Whatever he said, she just went along with it. Whatever he did, she just went along with whatever he was talking about. She never questioned it. She never told him, "Oh, you wrong." She never rebelled against him. She didn't give him no trouble. She made it so easy for him. So easy. The other ones, would not go along with stuff he would say or do or whatever. But my mother always was the yes person. So she got the nicest. He was the nicest to her only because she was a yes person. And there are some people that you get in relationships with and you wonder why it's not working out and the chaos and the lies and the drama because they need somebody in their life who is a yes person. They need somebody who is going to go along and just agree and say yes and all this and they need that, you know? Or they need to go all the way to the other end of the other side of things, or they need somebody to constantly uh scream at them, yell at them, and all that. It's either or. There are people out here that either they need a yes person to go along with the chaos and the stories and all that, or They need somebody on the more extreme side of yelling, fighting, arguing, that constant battle, that toxicness, that straight up toxic nastiness. You know what I mean? Yelling at you, cussing you out, being mean to you, and all. There are people out there that fall into those categories. That either it's a yes person that agrees with everything they got going on, or it's somebody extreme, just as extreme as them, that is toxic and does all the yelling and screaming and hollering and all this. I'm not a yes person, and I'm not a totally crazy toxic person. So I can't do the toxicness, and I can't be a total yes person. I can be yes on some things, but then there's some things I'm going to question, or I'm going to be like, well, why da, 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 I'm be asking some questions. You know what I mean? So I'm not a total yes person, and I'm not a toxic person either. So there are some people who need either or. They need the yes or the toxic, or maybe they need a combination of both. They need somebody who's willing to say yes to everything, and also act the fool. I can't do that. I can't do all that. Communication is all I want. Don't give me what I want to hear. Talk it through, or let me know what. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's so many people that have not been told, uh, they want to be surrounded by yes people all the time, and I think that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's absolutely crazy. Why you want to be surrounded by people that never uh uh be surrounded by yes people all the time? I ain't got time for all that. You know. I think and I also think you can be honest and truthful, especially to the person you talking to, in a tasteful way too. You know. You can be honest and truthful in a tasteful way. There are a lot of people that don't know how to use their emotional intelligence to gauge, how to talk to people and tell people certain things. Sometimes when I have said things and I know that, you know, it didn't come out right, or it didn't sound right, or whatever, I try to rectify it, as soon as I realize, I have said something that was unpleasant, or not totally correct, or not right. I try to correct it some type of way. But there are a lot of people that cannot do that. Swap spit. You don't think more men are looking for something serious as they get older, like when you're dating your 20s versus? I don't think men these days are looking for. Oh, that's a true Aries. I know, Heather. Uh, I don't think men are looking for nothing that serious these days, because the women got them shook. They so worried about gold digging and stuff. They not interested in nothing real serious at all. I think marriage, going into 2026, 2027, is probably off the table for a lot of men, because they, you know, eh, dealing with baby mamas and dealing with drama and craziness and stuff like that, they may not be interested in that. Yeah, I know Heather. I know Heather, we both. And being an Aries, it's tough. It is tough. It is tough being Cause I'm a person that got good intentions. I want to be helpful. I want to be nice. I want to be a good person. I want to see the good in people. And sometimes people think that, they can walk over me, or uh they can lie and all this stuff, and take advantage of me being somewhat naive in some situations. But at the end of the day, I ain't with none of these people because of the treatment. The treatment ain't right. And being an Aries person, I can be direct. There you go. They take kindness for weakness. I can be directed sometimes, and then sometimes I don't have to be confrontational. Sometimes there are people who thrive, who what is the word, who get high off of confrontations and all that. They love the fight and all that, and I don't feel like doing all that. To me, it's not that important. I'm not gonna be fighting people over getting deducted, somebody stealing a penny from me at a restaurant or something. Like, I don't have time for all that. That's not I don't do all that. That's above me. I mean, I'm above all that. So, some people, they want to fight for everything. I don't want to do that. And so they think that because you are not fighting for every single thing, is that you're not able to deal with confrontation. But I know how to de-escalate things. I know how to de-escalate situations so they don't get out of hand and stuff like that. I know how to de-escalate. But I'm not gonna sit here and fight over crumbs. I don't do that. I don't feel like doing that. You know. If I feel like you really done me wrong, and I feel like I was loyal to something and you really did me wrong, then yeah, I may bring something up. Like where I live at right now, a couple of days ago, they put an extra charge on my account. I contacted them. I said, "Hey, what's this? What's going on here? Y'all need to take that off. That ain't supposed to be there." As soon as I said that, they sent a message. "Oh, so sorry." Da, 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 da. Okay, you know. And the reason why I did it because I have been here for a minute, so I feel like there's a relationship, there's a loyalty relationship there. And so yeah, I'm gonna say something because there's a loyal relationship there. But for everyday things that are just random people and random stuff, I'm not gonna sit here and be fighting every single. I don't do that. That's not something I do. Nobody wants to shave you. That's a shame. Are you the one with the hairy back? Yeah, yeah. You need new friends. So, you know, as somebody who's an Aries, if you ever dealt with an Aries person, we are overthinkers. We be in our head about a lot of things and stuff like that, and we try to do our best to be nice and stuff like that. And sometimes we just say stuff and it just fly out our mouth just randomly, and you didn't really put a lot of thought into it. You just said it. Not that it was mean, but it just didn't have a lot of thought behind it. And I'm one of those people. I would say something, I ain't put a lot of thought into it, and then I say, "Oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. Let me take it back." Or let me rephrase that. I'm one of those people, I had to rewrite uh I had to edit my text all the time because I send a text and I say, "Oh shoot, I ain't mean to say it like that. Let me unedit it. Let me edit what I said." You know, I say things because I'm thinking very quickly. I'm a person, I have a lot of thoughts. I think a lot. I think about a lot of things. You know what I mean? And so my mind is going, 100 miles an hour or something crazy. It's just going. So I'm just spitting out whatever my brain spits out. It's like, oh, da 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 da. Da. And then I think about it and I said, oh shoot, I now need to edit what I said or something like that. So, I'm always a person aware. I'm aware of other people's feelings. I'm aware of how somebody may take something. You know what I mean? I don't want people to feel bad for something I said or something I did or whatever. So I always strive or try to correct, constantly. Anytime I do da 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 da. You know. I'm a fast thinker. I be thinking about stuff. I have a lot of stuff in my mind. You know what I mean? I be thinking about a lot of things. I be sitting here and I be in my bed. I be thinking about the rover on Mars and stuff like that. I be thinking about, what I'm gonna eat for lunch tomorrow. Then I be thinking about the writing that I'm doing. Maybe I should, start writing something. Da, da, da. I got a lot going on, in the mind. So, when I'm talking to people, especially by text, this is why I don't like texting. Even though I know that's the preferred communication for a lot of people, I don't like texting because it's easy for me to hurry up and spit something out like a computer and not put that much thought into it. And then I find myself I gotta edit every single time I say something in a conversation because I'm also thinking about what I said, and I'm also thinking about how that person is going to take it. You know what I mean? So, oh, it's a lot. But that's emotional intelligence. You know what I mean? To know that, you're thinking about not only what you said, but how the other person is going to receive it, how they're going to receive what you just put out there. You know what I mean? So, that's part of being emotionally intelligent. I care about myself, but I also care about the other person's feelings. I care a lot about people and not necessarily what they think of me overall, but I care about other people's feelings. I care about people, you know, that are close to me, not eating, not having something to eat or something like that. Like when I've dated people and I feel like, oh man, what'd you eat today? Oh, I ate such and such, and sometimes I'd be like, oh man, I'm cooking such and such. Do you want da da da? Blah blah blah. I'm one of those people. Well, hey, I'm going to go get some. You want to get some? I'm one of those people. I try to be thoughtful. I try to be, caring, even though I've been told I don't care. That's not true. I'm a caring person to an extent, you know what I mean? You can't just uh uh use me and all this kind of stuff. So, I can see when people are trying to, use me and stuff. And sometimes I play along or sometimes you know, uh I let the person get away with whatever, cuz they don't want to say that they don't have it, but they need it. You know what I mean? I've had those situations where the person don't have the money, but they need it. They need it for X, Y, and Z. And so, you have to be able to read people in order to be able to see that there's a need there, but they don't want to say they need something. Because sometimes that hurts people a lot in their mind, that, you know, that hurts them to come out here and say, you know, especially if they're a person who's been independent and taking care of themselves, and then all of a sudden they need something, but they don't want to directly ask for it. I'm the type of person I'd rather you directly ask for it than play, manipulation or mind games or create stories or chaos around something when you know you need something. I'd rather you say, I need da da da. Okay, da da da. Let's da da da. I don't want. I don't like when I have to, pick your brain as to what you need instead of you just directly being very direct and just saying, I need da 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 da. I think it's crazy. I think it's a waste of time. Just tell me exactly. Especially if we close. If we close enough, then that shouldn't be an issue. When you need something, when you sick and you need somebody to help you or something like that, you should be very open to it and just say, hey, I'm not feeling well. Can you help me? Da da da. Yeah. Yes, I can. You don't have to create a whole story or circus or whatever, a whole bunch of lies to get me to do something. All you gotta do is just be truthful and say, I need da 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 da, such and such da 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 da. Da. That's it. Creating a circus just to avoid being exposed or being vulnerable is wild to me. That is very wild to me. You don't want to be caught being vulnerable, so you create a whole circus and story. I don't understand that. Just be direct and say, I need help, I need this, I need that. If I needed help with something, I would just tell the person I'm with, I need your help. I need your help with so and so. I'm not gonna make up a whole story and so that I don't look like I don't need the help, but actually I do need the help. It's mentally exhausting and horrible to take yourself through something like that. Why would you do that to your own mind? You know what I mean? Create all this chaoticness. So, um, uh, as a Aries, I'm a fun person. I think I have a decent personality. Um, I like to laugh and all that kind of stuff, but I love direct people. I like people that are more direct, but not insulting. You know what I mean? I can respect directness without insults. Long as you're not insulting me or trying to humble me or bring me down or trying to attack my character or something like that, I can respect you being direct, but in a respectful way. You can be direct without being evil, and so I can respect that. But anyway, that's me. That's how I am. That's how I operate. That's what I do. So if you ever wonder what kind of personality I got, that's exactly it. I'm nice, but I'm not nice. I'm nice, but I'm not nice. And I'm a procrastinator. I do everything at the last minute. Heavy on the procrastination. Heavy on that. I don't do things in order most of the time. It's kind of like scattered. I'm not a go by order person unless I'm working. Other than that, my life is, I be focused on one thing. Until we are not. I know that's right, Heather. That's exactly what I am. I'm nice enough until I get to the point where I feel like you playing me. I feel like you treat you doing something. Once I catch on, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And sometimes I would use your own chaos against you. You know what I mean? If you take me down a chaotic rabbit hole, I will return the favor. I would bring a mirror to your face, basically, and present to you exactly what you've been doing to me. Whatever you doing to me, I will return the favor and mirror it right back to you. Well, and then at that time, you may think I'm crazy. You know what I mean? I have no problem showing you who you are. I will show you. I would treat you the same way you've been treating me. I will follow the blueprint. Once I get a hold of the blueprint of how somebody is treating me, and I think it's crazy. I won't necessarily just walk away. I'm just going to do the same thing you've been doing to me. The same energy you've been doing to me, I'm going to do to you. You think I'm crazy? I know that's right. Um, you know what I mean? If that's crazy, then it is what it is. But I will show you. I will return the energy. If you are a person who you should be the better person and not hurt people because they hurt you. No, I'm not. I'm not going to be the better person. I have done that. I have been that person that just lets the person be toxic and then not hold them accountable for the things that they doing. But if they continue to go through life like that and do that to every single person, you know what I mean? It has to stop. It has to stop somewhere. You know what I mean? You can't continue this path of destruction and thinking that it's okay because one person accepted and this person accepted and this person accepted. It has to stop somewhere. So when you come to me, I'm going to do mental gymnastics just like you are doing to me. Once I get a hold that once I see what's going on and I see the layout of the life you trying to project or whatever you're trying to do, I'm going to return it back to you. I'm going to return it back to you. So anything you feeling crazy, you feeling horrible, you feeling like I don't understand or I'm crazy, I am returning the favor back to you. Whatever you done, I'm a mirror right back to you. If you manipulate me, I'm going to mirror that back to you. If you give me silent treatment, I'm gonna give you silent treatment too. You know what I mean? You start talking to me, I'm gonna start talking to you. You 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 start crazy argument, it's crazy. I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the same thing. What's my favorite SpongeBob season? I had no idea. I ain't watched SpongeBob like that. Still waters run deep. We don't throw people. Leave peaceful people alive. Right. You know what I mean? I'm a peaceful person. I have never been. All my exes, they will probably have nothing but good things to say about me. I did not do. I wasn't a terrible person. They were just immature at the time, and they wanted to go cheat with so and so and so and so. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Are you going to love me? I don't know. Have you ever considered taking steroids for what? Am I a wrestler? So, I don't think they would have, thank you. I don't think they would have something bad to say about me per se. But, uh, uh, if anything, the few, the couple of them that I know of, they created their own chaos. And I just followed the blueprint. That's it. That's it. You create chaos. I'm going to mirror what you're doing. Thank you, Uncle Jukebox. And I think everybody should do that. I think everybody, when you are dealing with somebody who is toxic and crazy, you have to show them a mirror up to themselves. Period. You have to. Because if you don't, they're going to continue to do that with every single person. Every single person they meet is going to be the same thing. They're going to continue the chaos and the craziness because nobody showed them a mirror of what they're doing. They just accepted it. You one day you hope to be a mod. Yeah, we taking applications. Hmm. Yeah, so don't sit there, and allow that kind of behavior because you feel sorry for the person. No, 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 no. Show them. Show them what they're doing. Show them exactly what they're doing, to you. Mirror their behavior. I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe in that. Whatever they doing, when I was talking to somebody and the first time they gave me the silent treatment, disappearing for 2 or 3 days, I said, "What the hell going on here?" When they did that, I said, "Oh, so this is what we do when we get mad. When we get mad, we disappear for a couple days. Is this what we do?" And so when they started doing that, I'm like, "Okay, so that's the thing. When we don't like what each other is saying, or I don't like what you saying, I expect you to disappear. Okay, so now when I don't like what you say, I'm going to disappear too. I'm going to do the same thing you doing. Whatever you doing, I'm gonna do too. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be in this alone. I'm gonna do the same thing you doing. You know, you. Oh, I could write a book right now about some of the stuff I have witnessed. I could write a book, and I think it would be a number one bestseller because it would be unbelievable. You would say to yourself, "My God, what in the hell?" I don't know. But I don't know the you talking about the people, the counter up here or the number of people. 1 minute says 0 people, 1 minute says 5 people, 1 minute says 10 people. I don't know what the hell kind of counter this is. You got a wig on? Yeah, me and your mama got a wig on. But mine costs $29.99. Ask your mama how much her wig costs. Ask your mama how much her wig costs too. Maybe we got the same one. I don't know. You know, when people get mad and go for through that. Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I don't know what that's about. That was something new to me. I had never experienced. Well, no, I take that back. One of the people that I talked to, he disappeared for 2 weeks. He just stopped contacting me. I tried to call, he didn't answer, so I left it alone. 2 weeks went by. I'm like, I guess we ain't talking no more. 2 weeks went by, and finally, he came out of nowhere and said I was going through something and all this kind of stuff. I said, well, I think it's best that you figure out whatever you got going on, and I wish you the best. And that was it. That was the end of that. And I never talked to that man again. The only time he tried to reach out to me was in a live stream. He came to one of my live streams and said hi, and then I was like, Now who now who is this? I said, man, 2 weeks later, what the hell you talking about? You ain't no use in are you a sleep paralysis demon? No. Uh, I'm like 2 weeks. That's too long. What's going on? And so after I experienced that, I didn't. I was like, people be doing that. I'm not gonna just say men, just people. People be doing that. And then I met somebody else, and they did the same thing to me. But said it was 2 or 3 days. And then they come back and say, "Oh, I was at so and so house, trying to think some things through." And you can have times in your life where you need a break or you need to reset, you need to think and all that. But when you have somebody in your life, your intimate partner, the partner that you do things with, the partner you talk to, you can't just disappear, and just disappear out of nowhere and then expect them to understand. At least make the person aware that you need some time to think. That's better to say that than to just go cold turkey and disappear out of nowhere. That makes no sense to me. And then come back, you know. And so when I learned that this person was doing that kind of when I seen that pattern of, 2 or 3 times this person did that, I said, okay, so this is the thing we do. So one time I stopped talking for 5 days. I'm like, so this is the thing we do. So this is what we do. When we don't like what the other person is saying, we just disappear. And then by the time I came back around, this person said to me, "Oh, thank God! Oh, you're alive." He said, "Oh my God, you alive?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm alive." I didn't like what you said. And I noticed this is the way this is the what you do when you don't like something I said. You disappear for days. Or if something's going beyond me, if there's something that even it has nothing to do with me, you disappear for days. So once I learned that, I'm like, okay, let me follow you. Yeah, there you go, Heather. I'm like, okay, okay, we can all be Casper the ghost. If that's the way you want to do this is how we react. And that when I learned that, I'm like, okay, we both can do that. I don't care. I'm gonna do what you do. If you're gonna ghost me or you're gonna be silent for a day, I will do the same thing to you. I'm gonna do the same thing. That whatever you're doing, I'm going to do it too. I'm gonna act like I don't know what you. I'm gonna act like, I don't know what you're talking about. I remember the first time this person blocked me, and I'm trying to get in touch with them, and then finally they got in touch with me. I said, "Did you block me?" "Oh no, I would never block you." But I couldn't get in touch with you, so you blocked me. "Oh no, I would never do that." Try to make you feel crazy. You know what I mean? That level of toxic chaos and craziness. "Oh, I would never block you," but you blocked me. I thought that was the craziest thing I ever experienced in a relationship. A grown person blocking somebody you talking to, and then come back and say, "I never blocked you." But I know you did. Right, right. I don't know what. Hmm, you said you didn't block me, but you're not responding. So, and I'm messaging you, but you're not responding. So you had to have blocked me. I thought that was crazy. I said, "Oh no, this is too much for me." So then I learned to do that behavior too. A monkey see, monkey do. We gonna do the same thing. Whatever you doing, I'm gonna do it too. If you gonna take me down a rabbit hole of conversation, I'm gonna take you down a rabbit hole too. I do the same thing. I only follow what I see. I'm only doing exactly what I'm seeing. If this is what I'm seeing and this is what I'm presented with, this is how I'm going to do also. I thought we grown people. I don't know why all this craziness is going on. I had to ask myself at a certain point. I had to say, "Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? Am I going insane? What's going on?" A person that say they need space for the person that didn't say they need space but disappear for days, and then they block you. Say they don't block you, and then you can see that they talking to other people on their cell phone. Then they say they not. All of this. I just thought, well, I don't know what's going on, but it's strange and it's toxic, it's chaotic. I can't function. I can't function like that. I can't do it. I can't play that game for a long time like that. I cannot play that game. I know there's some people that love that kind of stuff. They love the back and forth and the drama and the crazy. I can't do that. That's astronaut. Heather, don't be in a relationship. I feel the two mistakes I have made is people who have active, complex situations going on, but then say it's not complex. Oh, I don't have nothing going on really. Really? It's like the man that stopped talking to me for 2 weeks. The first day I met him, he said he going through divorce. I said, "Oh, well, maybe you need time to, da 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 da, you just got divorced or whatever you going through, blah blah blah." I said, "You need to go take. You don't need to be dating. You need to be taking care of your health or your mental health or whatever." "Oh no, I'm fine. It's no big deal." A couple of days later, that man curled up in his bed crying, thinking about the ex-wife. I went over there. I said, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I just don't know what I'm going to do, and it was just too much. Oh, it was exhausting. I said, "Oh my God, sir, I'm only 1 week in this relationship, and you already crawled up in the bed and a ball, upset." And the first time I brought him some bread over, he cried. You know what I mean? Because the ex-wife wouldn't let him have no bread. I ain't had bread in so long. Thank you, Lord Kelvin. I ain't had bread in so long. I said, "Are you serious? As a grown man, you ain't had no." That woman had a mental trauma. She had you in a mental trap that you couldn't even, as a man. Now she not living with you, that you couldn't go and get bread. Yeah, you need therapy. You need a psychiatrist. You need a therapist. You need all of that. That was too much for me. I said, yeah, you need to work that out. So when he disappeared for 2 weeks, I was kind of glad because I was like, God, because that was too much. It was stressful. I said, sir, I'm only in this for a week and a half. I think no, I was talking to him for, I would say, 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks, and then he disappeared for 2 weeks, and then it was over. I said, wow. I even made it to Valentine's Day, but then, it was over. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. This is so crazy. I just wonder about people mindset. I feel like if you got a lot going on in your life, you need a break. And you need to be with yourself for a minute, work everything out, get yourself together, and then go back out there and try again. You know what I mean? Some situations you can manage. You can manage your personal and manage a new relationship at the same time. Some people are good at doing that, but not everybody good at managing that stuff. It can take a toll on you dealing with personal issues and then trying to navigate and be present in a new relationship, you know. And then you got to deal with the hurt from the other relationship. You got to deal with the hurt and the pain. Can I come to your house? No. Then you gotta deal with the pain from the other relationship that you had been in. You know what I mean? And that trauma. And then you have to. There are some people that their heart is cold because of the previous relationship, and so now there is something new, and they also trying to navigate other issues from the previous relationship. It's very difficult. It's very hard to do that and be present and be emotionally available to the new person. And sometimes you don't want to be emotionally available to the new person because you're scared of a repeat of what happened in the past. The past relationship is keeping you from being fully invested in the new one. And so you do everything in your power to not be connected to the new person. And that's wild to me. Why even get into it in the first place if you know that you're not gonna give that person the same level of connection that you did the first one? Why even jump into a new relationship knowing that you can't be invested because you are traumatized from the previous relationship. And this type of trauma don't necessarily go away because you need time to heal. You need time. You need a lot of time away from relationships, period, and be by yourself. You really have to be by yourself to heal, to fully heal yourself, so that the next person doesn't get half of you. You know what I mean? Because it's not fair to give the new person half of you when they giving you 100%. It's unfair and it's wild to me. That is crazy. What are you talking about? Why can't I because I don't know who police department you talking to, but tell them you can't come to the house because I got two pit bulls, a shark, and I got an 800-pound groundhog sitting in the bathroom. So it's not safe. Yeah, my house ain't safe. I got two groundhogs in the bathroom that are 800 pounds, and I got two sharks in the kitchen, two alligators on the couch. This is a death trap. You can't come to this house. You won't last 5 minutes here. And I got two poisonous chickens walking around. Yeah, you wouldn't last. So you gotta find somebody else to take you in. I can't take you in. Yeah, this house ain't made for all that. Where are all the white women at with their husbands? What are you talking about? Why would you come to my live stream looking for white women? What are you talking about? They at home. I told you I got too many alligators and groundhogs in the house for you to come over. You can't come over because I'm a heavy smoker. I smoke like 10 boxes of cigarettes an hour. This house is full of smoke right now. It just gobs of smoke. You know what I mean? You'll get sick real fast. So you can't come over here. It's a hazard. I have to keep from coughing myself. It's a big hazard. There's carbon monoxide in the air too. We got a lot of carbon monoxide here, so you can't live with me. You know what I mean? Not the poisonous chicken. You can't live here because there's a lot of there's a lot of worms in the toilet. We got worms all in the toilets and stuff. You won't be able to use the bathroom. Is Indiana a real place? Yes, it is. It's a religious place. You want to smoke a cigarette? Me? No, you can't smoke cigarette. My cigarettes are stuffed with pig guts. I smoke pig guts 10 boxes a day. Yeah, they're lethal. I almost died yesterday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't stay over here and smoke nothing. You can't smoke pig guts and stuff here. Try somewhere else. I'm pretty sure they have some churches that can help you. Stop by Popeyes or something. Ask them, can they help? Stop by Popeyes. Try Popeyes or try a halfway house or go to Walmart. Walmart. There's some 24-hour Walmart somewhere. Just walk around Walmart. To the next day. I wish I could help. I wish but the two groundhogs, they be fighting in the bathroom. And over the worms in the toilet. So I don't. It's not safe here. This is not. This is a hazardous zone. Very hazardous. Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to stay here. Yeah, this is not great. A great area, to be honest. So yeah. Hmm. But anyway, I don't know. Everybody just be careful who y'all talk to. You know what I mean? Be very careful. I'm gonna be out here this summer, and you know, romanticizing my life, enjoying the new clothes I'm getting and stuff like that, and going places and doing things. And I encourage everybody to do those things and give yourself some grace and have fun and do different things and go explore. Now I ain't gonna do too much exploring, but I will be going on some vacations. So well needed sun and fun. You know what I mean? Stuff that I don't normally do. I don't normally go on these exotic vacations and go to these places, but I feel like I need to, you know, um, I need to get out there and do some things, you know, enjoy some fun in the sun. So I will be doing some of those things. I don't know what yet. How long have you been a lesbian? For 2 hours. Hook me up with your grandma. Hey Jason, how you doing? Ask me how long I've been a lesbian. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Tell your grandma I'll come to my live stream. I'm pretty sure we could get along. Hmm. I've been having a lot of different kind of trolls lately. So I think I'm leveling up because the trolling is getting better. You know, the trolling is getting better. So I feel like I'm getting so many random trolls these days. I feel like I'm starting to level up. You woke back up and making your rounds on here. I'm about to go to sleep. I'm about to lay down. I'm gonna pray to God that God send me a wonderful person. You know what I mean? That God send me a thoughtful, caring, entirely intelligent uh, individual. You know, I'm gonna do one more go of it before I get too old. I got one more relationship in me, and then after that, you know, no more after this. I got one more in me. I got one more relationship in me. But for this summer, I'm just gonna be dating different people and all that kind of stuff. But as far as relationship, I only got one more relationship available inside of me. Okay. And after this, I don't want nothing else. Are you into poop? No, I'm not. I'm not into no poop. You have any kids? Yes, I got two adult and a teenager. Mhm. Yeah, so I only got one more relationship in me, but I will date. I will date, you know, around and see what's going on out there. I'll do all that dating stuff and then I'll you know, uh I'll settle for one more relationship and then that's it. And if that don't work out, I'm done. I'm never doing it again. I'm okay. You know, I don't even have to go to another one, but I'm okay. I can be by myself. I'm fine. I told God, I said, you know, if you can't give me nobody to love, just give me some money. You know, that's it. And so far, it ain't been love. Mm. So far, it ain't been that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy your morning. Drink your coffee. Make your breakfast. Do something fun. Do something you passionate about. Lately, I've been decorating stuff around the house. So that's what I've been doing. So, maybe you get some new towels, some new bed sheets, some new stuff to make you feel great, to bring you fully into spring and summer. Let go of all the old stuff and bring in the new. Bring in the new. You know what I mean? Anyway, you guys have a great night, a great day. Bye. What? Simba? How the hell I look like Simba? Bye, Heather.